they affect you. Every Monday through to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. This will be your most authentic news experience starting now on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
It's 2025. The biggest conversations are happening on Hard Facts.
The model of Adewole was genuinely interested in local government funds who have protested to be cancelled.
Somebody is receiving 30,000 naira after serving the country for 5 years.
From the stories shaping Nigeria's future.
And the dumping my mood for that whenever people are clapping, he's praise singers when they ought to be telling him the truth.
I mean, he did not do any remarkable thing in your state, and you are celebrating corruption time.
To real-time feedback from you, the citizens.
There is propaganda. They can never make it work. I will not support that tax reform.
If NBS is turning out very fake data to us, because this data lacks empirical evidence.
We dig deep with the decision makers, hold the powerful accountable, and keep the conversation alive on social media. Join Maryann Okon every Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the most interesting news.
.3 Nigeria Info. This is welcoming you to the abridged version of Hard Facts. I'm Maryann Okon, welcoming you to the show. We're live facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. This will be your most authentic news experience, and we're actually bringing it to you from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimi and Crescent, Victoria Island. Now, we're going to be talking about federal government versus Binance. So apparently, sometime in February, I think just before, on the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, the federal government decided that they were going to sue Binance for 81.5 billion naira in economic losses and back taxes. For those of you who do not remember what happened, I can remind you. You remember the Binance situation where the Binance guy had been one of them. Let me start with the story of the Binance executive who had actually been taken to he was in custody of the DSS. That's what we heard. Apparently that was the report, and then he decided that he wanted to go pray, and the man who was with him let him go pray, and he disappeared from there and left the country. But then his assistant was left in the custody of the Secret Service and was taken to court over and over again. Played those videos here on the show. We've had those discussions. But right now, as it is, the government is suing this Binance official who they let go on diplomatic grounds. I'm setting my guest has joined us. Setting the grounds for this conversation. They let him go on diplomatic grounds. And then he started talking. I'd like to read his tweet, but first, let me introduce my guest, who obviously is a lawyer and a politician. Especially when it comes to stuff like this, I always like to hear his thoughts on issues such as this. He's a former presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, and he joins us live via Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Prince Adewole Adebayo. He's not a stranger to Nigeria Info. Mr. Adebayo, it's so good to have you join us. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Maryann. Good to see you, and God bless Nigeria.
Great. Just before we go into this conversation, I don't know how social media savvy you are, but there was this back and forth between the Binance executive and the federal government of Nigeria. In fact, he made an allegation against the NSA, who he accused of asking for a bribe. Well, let me quickly read that tweet and then we'll get into the conversations proper. This is a tweet that had been up for weeks. And for every time the federal government or somebody responded to him, He would also respond back to the tweets. In fact, the federal government had put up a post on Twitter. Now we call it X. I'd like to read it. He said, disregard any falsehoods being peddled by Tigian Gambarian against the Nigerian government officials. This is from the federal government. It goes on to say the federal government of Nigeria notes with concerns the outrageous allegations, misinformation, and defamatory statements being disseminated by Tigerian Gambarian, an American personnel of Binance who was recently tried in Nigeria for financial crimes. While the federal government of Nigeria is hesitant to engage Mr. Gambarian given the high-level diplomatic intervention that resolved his case, we're obliged to set the record straight to stop falsehoods from gaining grounds. And then they go on to explain. But then Mr. Gambarian responds under that federal government's tweet saying, maybe you should take time to get your facts straight before posting. He said, I was invited by the Nigerian FIU to a meeting in January. The last time I checked, they're part of the Nigerian government. House members also invited us to a meeting. Last time I checked, the legislative branch is also part of the Nigerian government. You said in your second part that you said the second part was part of a probe. LOL, he says. So when you invited us for a friendly meeting, you even lied about that. A tactic deployed by Gambarian and his team, he asked, what are you talking about? I was in a safe house for a month watching TV while you were trying to use me as leverage. Then you panicked and knowingly charged me with blatantly false accusations. And I'm going to leave it at that and come to you, sir. Now, if you followed this as a lawyer, you followed this conversation. First, it was a case of evasion of taxes, and then several other cases. One of them, successfully ran out of the country. He was held and then finally on diplomatic grounds let go. But now there is a hefty allegations against government officials, including the National Security Advisor. Do you think that the Nigerian government should take this seriously in any way? And then, of course, the fact that the government is saying we should disregard what this man has to say. Should Nigerians also take this with a pinch of salt?
Well, the first thing we need to bear in mind is that a government is supposed to be a serious enterprise. And a government has protocols. And the federal government of a sovereign nation, a sovereign republic like Nigeria, is supposed to be full of persons, institutions, methodologies, and processes. And the back and forth between the government and this individual does not show seriousness on the part of the government, because no government deals with law enforcement through tweets. Even when you are undergoing trial or investigation in the Justice Department of most countries, when you make inquiries, the maximum they will tell you is that the matter is under investigation and we do not comment on individual cases. So the amateurishness of the government in the initiation of the probe, the handling of the probe, the diplomatic negotiation that led to the release of the suspects is what has led to this case, because international criminals know how to gaslight government and systems. I am a lawyer in the US. I practice in several states and the federal courts. There is a protocol for plea bargains, for example. There are a series of undertakings you will put in a plea bargain, including that the person who is the beneficiary of the plea bargain should not speak to the press, should not tweet, should not discuss the case, and so on and so forth. So this government, I am obligated as a Nigerian and as a Nigerian leader, when it comes to any dispute between any international person, a foreign person, and the government of my country, I'm obligated to take the side of the government of my country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obligated by patriotism to believe in the systems of my country over the allegation of a foreign person. That's the starting point. However, the amateurish nature and your serious nature of government of not go down reform. So they have mishandled the case from the beginning. They are mishandling it now. So because allegations are being made regarding persons who are in our government, our constitution does not allow us to ignore that. Because our constitution says it is the duty of the government to abolish corruption. And where allegations of corruption are made, those allegations have to be investigated, irrespective that such allegations are being made by people who also have skeletons in their own cupboard, or people who we don't respect, or people who we don't trust. But once the allegation is made,
I'm sorry, we're losing you because of the connection. I guess because you're moving. We've lost your audio. If we can get you back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Hard Facts. We're talking about federal government versus Binance. Our guest is a former SDP presidential candidate, Prince Adebayo. And, of course, he's giving us his 2 cents on, well, most importantly, how this case has been handled so far. We lost you for a bit, Mr. Adebayo, but I think you're back now. Yes. Let me ask a quick question. How do you think that this issue should have been handled? Because I guess, again, that from the moment where the first Binance executive disappeared from the country, and the stories we were given was that he wanted to go pray. And I'm thinking to myself, and that's the same question that I asked when this happened. If a person is in custody, why does he have to go to a mosque to pray? That's one. And you've also pointed out the flaws in handling this issue. But how do you think that this should have been handled to start with?
I think number one, before you arrest anyone, you need to have done your investigation. Because the methods of law enforcement in Nigeria, which we have been complaining over time, that does not follow due process, is what has been internationalized. Ideally, you do your investigation because economic crimes are on record. Economic crimes are traceable. You do not need the person who has committed the economic crime to be with you personally or in your custody before you investigate. So before you invite them over, that you want to have a meeting with them.
Oh, there we go again. We have lost that connection. Mr. Adebayo, can you hear me? We lost that connection again. We're going to try and see if we can get connected back with Prince Adewole Adebayo, who's a lawyer and a politician, and we're looking at this Binance issue. One would have thought that with the diplomatic, agreement that the Nigerian government and the United States government had with on the case of Mr. Gambarian, that this would have been a done deal. But then, of course, he comes on social media and starts, calling names and making allegations. And this, of course, has revived this case, for want of a better way to describe it. Then the federal government is actually charging him for back taxes, and they've instituted a suit against him in court. Mr. Adebayo is back with us. Mr. Adebayo, I have 3 minutes before we go on our first break. Now, you were talking about the process, the procedure, especially when you're dealing...
So to start from the beginning, They didn't follow the due process, because before you arrest a foreign national and put them in custody, you should have your charges ready. You should have done your investigation, you should have secured an indictment, and you should just be looking for them. Once you grab them, maybe 1 or 2 days of questioning, you should be charging them to court. That's number one. So that was not properly handled. Secondly, I did not believe the story that the suspect escaped from custody. I believe that the suspect was released. Either he was released for diplomatic reasons, whether the government was negotiating with the home government of the suspects, and they say, okay, as a sign of goodwill, release one of them. Or he was released based on official corruption.
So are you saying that they must have bribed somebody within the security services, and that's how he escaped? Because we hear that they still had one of his passports.
I said that either of two options. One, either the government released it as a sign of goodwill to convince whoever they were negotiating with that, okay, we have two people in custody, and we release one as a sign of seriousness, and then you do what we ask you to do, and then we release the other. So in that case, they might have been duped into releasing the person, and it will turn out that they didn't do the bargain. Secondly, it could be that because the government is so disorganized and it's unserious from top to bottom, that somebody did a private deal and released him for money or some other inducement. Either of the two, but what is clear is that the gentleman
oh dear.
And also escaped the country.
Oh my goodness.
If he escaped,
go ahead.
Do you get me now?
Yes. I have 30 seconds.
I do apologize. If I knew it was a Zoom meeting, I would not have been on the road. I thought it was a telephone call.
Oh, no.
So clearly, he did not escape from custody. Full stop.
Okay, I want to ask a very serious question, but you don't have to answer me because I need to go on a break. Does this, in one way or the other, validate some of the allegations that Gambaryan has been making against the federal government?
It doesn't, but I will tell you fully, it doesn't.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. Prince Adewole Adebayo is still with us. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk.
More talk, news and sports after this.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Grand Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more. Register now and take your stand. Your time to shine is now at hand.
Registration is ongoing on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
And Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Hard Facts.
.3 Nigeria Info. This is Hard Fact, and I'm Maryann Okon. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. And I do still have with me Prince Adewole Adebayo. He is a former presidential candidate for the Social Democratic Party, SDP. Oh my goodness, we just lost his connection. He will join us again. Well, he's been giving us a legal perspective on all of this, and of course, his personal perspective on how this issue has panned out. Federal government versus Binance. Again, I'd like to remind you that this is the Gambaryan that was let go on the grounds of diplomacy between the Nigerian government and the United States of America. But then, for many Nigerians, we're wondering, is there anything to these allegations that he has made? Because he took to social media, he tagged our national security advisor, mentioned him in person, and then, of course, went on to make hefty allegations on bordering on corruption. Well, my guest is still here with us. Before we went on the break, I asked him a question as to whether there be any form of, validity. Well, maybe validity is not the word. Is there anything to the allegations that Mr. Gambaryan has made against the National Security Advisor and, of course, the Nigerian government?
First and foremost, like all allegations, the person who's making the allegation to prove it. The process requires that.
Go ahead.
Our process requires that we cannot use the allegation and say because it's being made by a suspect or a foreigner, and we should not listen to it. We should listen to it, but it must bring evidence, and the people being named must be asked to face. What makes it clear is that the people who are involved in the matter of the investigation of Binance are the people being accused. So what it means is that under our law, there's a motive that the people who were investigating him could not be his best of friends, so he can have a motive against them to discredit them. Secondly, under our constitution, every allegation is presumed to be on proof, or it is proven, and the accused person is proved to be innocent, is deemed to be innocent.
Until proven guilty. Okay. We're having that connection issue again. Can you hear me, Mr. Adebayo? Yeah, we lost him completely. Well, it's still hard facts. We're still trying to make sense of this whole Binance versus federal government imbroglio. And just as my guest has said, according to the Nigerian constitution, even the allegations made against the National Security Advisor, he stands, a free man until he's proven guilty. But then how can we also trust, because as much as the constitution, in your words, is going to one way or the other invalidate those allegations until there's proof. I'd like to take you back to the tweet. He did say that he had receipts. He had some things to prove, as proof for the allegations that he made. He went back and forth with them on his social media. But then the thing is, who's going to bring the proof? Who's going to verify that proof? Can we trust the process that if the proof is made available, it will not disappear or be made to disappear? And how can we trust this whole process? Should we take out the people who have been accused and those who had previously handled this case and bring in a new set of people to handle it? It might be a daunting task, but is it possible?
Under our law, people who are accused do not investigate themselves. So, if, for example, the National Security Advisor is the person accused, as it is the case, he cannot investigate himself. So, the Ministry of Justice, under the Attorney General, will investigate him. The National Assembly can investigate by virtue of their oversight function. And the general public can use their common sense to follow the evidence. What I expect the accuser to do is within the United States, go to a court or go to a notary public and put his allegation in a sworn affidavit. Because if he puts the allegation in a sworn affidavit, he will be guilty under U.S. law and guilty under Nigerian law if he's lying. But tweeting around is not how you make a government to take your allegation seriously.
Okay.
So you should be able to put that on the record in a.
So let's talk about the suits that the federal government has instituted against Gambarian. And now they're asking him.
Well, how?
Can you hear me, Prince Adebayo? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah, we lost your connection for a bit.
I can hear you.
So, you know that the federal government has also...
Yes, I was saying that...
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. The connection is really terrible.
I was saying that he should put the affidavit, he should put his allegation, including the proof, in a sworn affidavit. Sworn affidavit. And make it available to the public. And address it to ICPC, EFCC, Attorney General of the Federation, and all of us will now follow this, whether it is true or not.
But then the federal government has sued Binance for $81.5 billion in economic losses and back taxes. Does this not, in a way, feel like they're backpedaling on the diplomatic gesture that they had made towards the United States of America?
Well, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Attorney General, none of them briefed us comprehensively as they should under our law when they made that bargain on behalf of Nigerian people. So we are not bound by that. If they have changed their mind now and they want to go and sue, either they are suing as a stunt because the government has no reputation for being a serious government.
Wow.
Either they are suing as a stunt or a retaliation. We go and prove in the court where they have sued. And after they have proved in that court and they got a judgment against Binance, they will have to go to countries where Binance has assets to show that.
Apologies, the connection is really, really wonky. We apologize. Hopefully we can bring this conversation to some sort of resolution. Can you hear me, Prince Adebayo? Can you hear me? Unfortunately, I wanted him to resolve so that we can open up the phone lines. But there are a lot of processes from what he said that have been skipped, which obviously continues to raise questions as opposed to giving us some level of clarity between Binance and the federal government and whatever deals were cut or whatever understanding, they had with the American government. There's so many loopholes, and makes the whole story a bit unclear. But before we go on, open the phone lines. Okay, I think my guest is back and he's clearer. So you have said something about the fact that our government is not serious. Why would you consider the government as unserious? Quickly, because I'm sure that people are listening and saying, why is he saying the government is unserious?
The government, those who are in government, I'm not saying the whole government as a whole.
Okay.
Those who are in government have a reputation of being unserious. Most of their prosecution, they don't pay attention. They prosecute and file charges, including filing charges against children for protesting. The way they're handling Nnamdi Kanu's trial, and the way they are prosecuting Sowore every minute for one silly thing or the other, they have abused the power of prosecution. They are being charged to court now. The public assume because the government has a reputation for prosecution powers. The way they've handled Yaya Bello, they see Yaya Bello in the afternoon, they don't see him in the evening, they see him the next morning, all the confusion. So the way they're handling Mambila, they are lying, the government.
Bottom line, they're not being serious with how they're handling the issues. We're having a bit of a challenge with our connection, but we're going to try to open up the phone lines. In case you're just joining us, we're talking about federal government versus Binance. And my guest is the former presidential candidate for the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Prince Adewole Adebayo. He's a lawyer and a politician. Let's talk about this while we're trying to get his connection back. 0201 465 7190. When I was younger, there's this thing we used to, I don't think it's proper English, but they did say the more you look, the less you see. I think it's proper English, But and then the street lingo for it today is, if someone explains Nigeria to you and you understand it, then they didn't explain it well. Join the conversation. 0201-465-7190. That's the number for you to call. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Post your comments on our live feed. On WhatsApp, it's 080-959-75805. On Skype, we're Nigeria Info FM. Let's hear what you have to say quickly. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, Maryann. Pino.
Hey, good afternoon. Go ahead.
I really want to commend your guest. He really put up a very nice submission. Just like you use that old English, I don't know what, from top to bottom, I don't know what these people are up to. If you take the case of even what happened in Anambra, in the murder case of one of the assembly guys, Azoka, 11 suspects were arrested. You can't imagine, Maryann, 2 escaped. Then the remaining ones died in custody. What kind of country is that? And when you ask them, they say it's as a result of the complication in the gun wound they got during the exchange of fire. So these people, they know what they are doing. Anything they want you to see is what you see. Anything they want you to hear is what you hear.
All right. Thank you very much, Merchant Man, for calling. We have to keep it moving. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Mimi.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Emeka is my name from Satellite.
All right, Emeka, go ahead.
You see, I want to say your guest has done a very wonderful job in his submission. The way we prosecute in this country, our system of justice needs to be overhauled completely. But like I mentioned, before you arrest a foreigner, for that matter, you were supposed to have put your facts together. That's supposed to have done thorough investigation, because it goes beyond the individual. It also impugns on the nation's justice system. And now look at the boomerang. Look at the allegation. I'm not going to hold brief for anybody. Love of country is not going to make me hold brief for the government or those people who have been mentioned. They're not going to hold brief for the foreigner. The law says you are legislating proof. Let there be a thorough investigation. Let this case be seen to the end, because the name of this country is at stake. When you mention the name of the national security advisor of a country, it's not just a trivial matter. So if there is any level of corruption has been found that have been done anywhere, let it be exposed and let those people tell you how that.
All right, we have to take other calls. Thank you, Emeka, for calling. 60 seconds is all you have. Hello.
Hi, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Maryann, the more I try to understand this country, the more headache will be headaking me. Maryann, this season thing, it has not even ended. Talk more started. See, in every iota of a spoken word, there's either an iota of truth or doubt in it. But on this particular one, knowing our systems and the way some people try to circumvent it, Maryann, there's nothing you can tell me. There's an iota of truth in this. Further investigations, if not swept, will reveal a lot more in the coming days. But telling me that this Binance man does not know what he's saying, honestly, I won't. And I will support my country on this one. Why? It's a patriotic citizen. But because the things like this, at the end of the day, people are also coming. If the time is clean, then we can move on. So this one, something has to be done properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So someone is complaining that there's no audio YouTube live stream. Tunde, can you kindly just fix that for us if there be a problem? Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann. Good afternoon. Sorry.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Peter Monson is my name from Shomolu.
Go ahead.
Maryann, I'm very happy with your guest speaker this afternoon. He has said everything I'm supposed. That man speaks like Peter Monson, who is not afraid of anything. And them telling me that the government is not serious. That's my stand. And he mentioned all the cases that they have been handling so woefully. I want to add there that the government does not respect their law, their court, the constitution. They don't respect. I want to run up by saying that, look, whatever concerns any government official, whether no Ribadu or who, join APC and your sins will be forgiven you. Nothing will happen. We are just talking. God bless you.
All right, Peter, thank you for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Malik speaking.
All right, Malik, go ahead. Turn off your radio.
Maryann,
Malik, turn off your radio.
why are we surprised? The more you see, the more you know how to steal. That is what they're teaching us. If the NSA can be accused like that, it is a country that wants to work. Do you think you'll still be in his office again? Maryann,
but it's a
but
it's a mere allegation. It's a mere
Maryann,
allegation.
small or big,
Until
it's sensitive.
I can come to the radio today and say that Tinubu stole something.
That is not radio, Maryann.
No, hold on. I'm just saying, and just like the guest said, these are allegations until proven. So if Gambarian wants to make a serious case, like he said, go to a court of competent jurisdiction and swear an affidavit, and then make it available to both the Nigerian government, the security agency.
Maryann,
and then
something you forgot
from there.
Something you don't forget, that the people, there were two of them that was arrested. One escaped.
We talked about
till today. The people that was keeping duty there say he went to go and pray. Do you know what that tells you? Look at the police in Anambra saying that the only evidence they have, that one died. Someone that killed the lawmaker. That tells you that either the state government or somebody on top is involved in the murder of that house of
Malik, thank you very much for calling, Malik. Because of time, I have to make sure that everyone's heard. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I don't know why people are surprised. Just look at the formation of the people running the affairs. The NSA man, is it the Senate president, is it the speaker? Look at the formation. Everybody, you hear the statement of Senator Joseph Carlo. A big slap on Nigeria. With all these things they are dishing out to Nigerians, and he's making such statements, and we say we are practicing democracy. I hear people complain, we'll prosecute Babangida. Those who want to prosecute him, they commit worse sin than this guy. You hear the allegation about $150 million. Hello, Miriam.
I'm listening.
$150 million. Waiting the guy job to mention the NSA. I beg you, they should stop all this. Shame.
Thank you.
My people say thief, not the shame. Brother, the shame now.
Thank you very much, Chris, for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do call us back. I want to read some messages. We're going to try to fix our live stream. If you can hear us, go ahead. And post your comments. If you have questions for my guest, is still here. Turn off your radio.
Hello, Miriam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Engineer Kundayo. I'm calling you from Ikorodu.
Go ahead, please.
First, I want to thank you for bringing Mr. Adebayo. He's a very serious person and a leader in our political frame. Now, all these cook and bull and do stories of diplomatic whatever, I think that I personally will not take it. Now, how can someone, a fugitive, escape from the National Mosque? Now, I'm talking about the first Binance official. He escaped and went to our airport. Who are those that received him and took him to the airport for him to travel abroad? So it's a cook and bull story. I don't believe in it. I want to ask Mr. Adebayo, how successful can Nigeria be if we are to take this man to the second man to court for 87 billion naira? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kundayo. Prince Adebayo, can you hear me? Because this question obviously is for you. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes, he's asking if it will be a successful process, especially that you have already, queried how these previous cases have been handled. What's the guarantee that this will be thoroughly executed?
We don't know first whether the people who brought the allegations want to prove the allegation. It may just be a knee-jerk reaction. It could just be that, okay, you are trolling me too, I'm going to troll you. So we need to see that they are serious about it. And if they are serious about it, they will bring particulars. And I also believe that between Nigeria and the United States, you would need the other country to agree that the deal is off because of the behavior of the person whom you released. So the most important thing for us is to understand that this is a lesson that our behavior at home would occasionally be exposed internationally, and that we should have a process and a system that is so thorough that when you make an allegation like that, our citizen will rise up and say, no, our country is not like that. But any Nigerian who is honest knows that this kind of allegation is familiar to them, and it is not something that we have not witnessed domestically before. So anywhere I go in the world, I will be on the side of Nigeria. But when allegations are made that are tendentious and are confirmatory of our cultural experience, it is difficult for us not to have self-doubt. And that's what Nigerian government gives to you anywhere you go. They give you self-doubt. They give you an inability to stand up and speak authoritatively because you don't want to be a liar yourself. That because in defense of my country, I make a liar of myself. So it is a challenge.
Oh my goodness. And the internet is doing you in again, Mr. Adebayo. But let's try and take another quick call. The internet has gone off again. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Why am I hearing myself?
Hello?
I'm hearing myself.
Okay, you're hearing yourself?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
All right. That's because you're listening to two things, and I can hear myself really loudly. So you need to lose whatever is making me re-echo.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I greet your guest. Raprushku is my name.
Go ahead.
Well, you said it, the more you look, the less you see. And that's what we are getting this country. Where the governments are not serious. I guess I've said it, and that is what it is. The last hope of common man is no longer working. And I don't know, I can tell Nigerians that you have somebody in your custody and they went to prayer in the mosque. I got missing. That's what they're telling us. And we believe. It's high time government start paying compensation for unseriousness in this country. Because, like I said, the more you look, the less you see. Many things are not the way it's supposed to be working in this country. But who are we going to blame? We still let the blame on our government because they are an affairs of this country. And anyhow it goes,
all right,
so then responsible.
Thank you very much for calling. I want to read some messages before we wrap things up here. Someone said, another client, before security agency carry out any thorough investigation, a thorough investigation is done, but the EFCC and most of Nigeria's security agencies, they carry out arrest before commencing investigation. That is why they lose 80%, more than 80% of their cases in court. We have more of media trials than court trials. Steve Inijaniki sent us that one on WhatsApp. Someone here says, Maryann, Prince Adebayo is right on most of his submissions. Government doesn't respect any law. How Obasa broke into the Lagos State House of Assembly today despite his removal, even supported by heavy police presence. Binance knows federal government can't defend anything. The accusations may be right. There is no law here, my sister. This is from Ayo. This one's from Emeka in Shango Tedo. He says, I would like to add that Binance trading volume is recorded at about $21.6 million. Trading volume means the amount of money interchanged between Nigerian traders. This amount did not leave Nigeria's economic sphere. Emeka from Shango Tedo. Okay, interesting. I want to take a few more calls before I let my guest go. I see that he's on the move. Please turn off your radio. Turn off your radio and call me back, please. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah.
Turn off your radio and call me back. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
My name is Prince Wise, calling you from Oshodi.
Go ahead.
The question before your guest in the studio is this. The man that's supposed to take care of that man before we went to mosque to pray, after the man has gone left Nigeria, that man in question is still in detention, or have they taken him to court, or have they allowed him to remain in the authority? That's my question to that man, please. I want you to tell Nigeria.
Mr. Adebayo, can you hear us? If you can hear us, could you respond to his question? Mr. Adebayo, can you hear me? I don't think he can hear.
I can hear you.
Okay.
What was the question?
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Can you hear me? Oh. Okay, let's try and take another call quickly. Hello? Hello? Oh dear. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Turn off your radio.
Maryann
Okon. Good evening. 60 seconds. Go straight to the point, please.
Okay, Godwin from Lakwe is my name.
All right, Godwin, go ahead.
With all the information with your guest, it is no new to some of us. And this drama that is being brought by this APC government, both past and present, I have no single, I'm not surprised at all, because I did not expect less than this. And except by grace of God, so shall it be, because we don't have committed heart who means business. Only they're there for themselves. And whatever that does not give them immediate benefit, they handle it just to their own favor in whatever form. It is a government of grab to take and run away. So whatever that, any caricature there, we should expect more. God bless Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up and let Mr. Adebayo go because he's actually on the move. But quickly, let's go on a break and we'll be right back.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.